Let's talk about choosing random numbers. For example, pick 6 random numbers between 1 and 99. We can use a random number table. Here's one that's online. You can also find one in the appendix, the back of any statistics textbook. We want 6 random numbers between 1 and 99. So let's just grab these 10 numbers. Okay, here they are. Here's how we'd find 6 random numbers between 1 and 99. We're going to pick the first 2 digits of each of these numbers: 11, 21, 10, 36, 73, and 49. And there we have it. There we have our 10 random numbers leading to these 6 random numbers. Okay, so we've got these 6. We could just as easily pick these two 11, next to 16, next to 42, pick 12, pick 15, pick 10. That's a legitimate way to do it as well. We can do that. We can use a random number generator on a calculator. So we could use a TI-83 or TI-84. Just press the math button and choose PRB for probability, and then choose randint under random integer. We want a number between 1 and 99, so choose randint 1, 99, and press enter 6 times. And you end up with these 6 random numbers. So 94, 90, 15, 51, 41, and 73. If you have a TI Inspire, you would first choose calculate, press enter, and then press the menu button, and you'd get something like this. So then you choose probability, then random, no surprise there, and then integer, because we want a random integer. We want a number between 1 and 99, so you would basically put in randint. You've already got the randint, then you enter 1, 99 and press enter 6 times. And then you end up with these 6 random integers here. These are all going to be integers between 1 and 99. Or here's a slicker way to do it. Randint 1, 99, 6. That will give you 6 numbers between 1 and 99. 6 integers between 1 and 99. And here they are. You've got these. Let's say, for example, you wanted to pick 10 random Major League Baseball players, MLB players. Here's method 1. Count the number of Major League Baseball players. Well, that's 30 teams times 40 players per team, 40-man roster, yields 1,200 players. List all the players, number them from 1 to 1,200, create a list of 10 random numbers from 1 to 1,200, and pick the players corresponding to those numbers. So that's one way to do it. To be honest, it's kind of cumbersome to come up with such a list because there's no nice online list that has all 1,200 current MLB players. So here's a better way to do it. Method 2 lists the MLB teams numbered from 1 to 30. So you have the Arizona Diamondbacks, Atlanta Braves, Baltimore Orioles, Boston Red Sox, Chicago Cubs, Chicago White Sox, etc. Then create a list of 10 random numbers from 1 to 30. Repeats are okay. These will be your 10 random teams. For example, if your random numbers are 5, 2, 5, etc., then you pick the 5th team on your list, which is the Chicago Cubs. Then the 2nd team, number 2, Atlanta Braves. Then back to the 5th team, Chicago Cubs, etc., until you have your 10 teams. Then create a list of 10 random numbers from 1 to 40. Say 4, 6, blah, 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 blah. These will be your random players. Pick the player on the team corresponding to that number. For example, your first random number for a player is 4. You pick the 4th player in the Chicago Cubs roster because remember, so the Chicago Cubs was the first team. So we pick the 4th player in the Cubs roster, and you can find team rosters online. So you would pick Moises Ballesteros. Your second random team, remember, second team, first team was the Cubs, second team was the Braves. Your second random team was the Atlanta Braves. Your next random number was 6. So you pick the 6th player on the Atlanta Braves roster, and you can find this online. So in this case, you would pick Vidal Brujan. And then repeat the process until you have 10 players. What a hassle! Can't you simply pick the first 10 players whose names begin with, say, Z? Like Rob Zastryzny, Ryan Zefferjan, Angel Zerpa, etc. Isn't that random? Well, no. There's going to be a disproportionate number of Polish and Hispanic players. It's not random because in Polish surnames, a disproportionate number of Polish surnames, more than you'd expect, begin with Z, and ditto with Hispanic surnames. So this list of names that begin with Z, you're going to end up with lots of Polish guys, and that would warm my Polish heart because all of my ancestors came from Poland. And you'd end up with lots of Hispanic players, like Angel Zerpa, but it's not random. You end up with a disproportionate number of Polish and Hispanic players. So no, you can't pick the first 10 players whose names begin with a Z, or the first 10 players whose names begin with an A. That's not random. What if we asked a search engine like Google to give us 10 random baseball players? I did that. Here's what I got. These 10 players. This is not random. I asked for 10 random players, 10 random baseball players, and I got these guys. This is not random. Look at these players. Clayton Kershaw, Christian Yelich, Max Scherzer, and Jacob deGrom. Okay, these 4 players are future Hall of Famers. We have only 10 players here, and 4 of them, 40% of our 10, are future Hall of Famers. 40% of the players in the league are not future Hall of Famers. So this is not truly a random list. It's a list of baseball players, but it's not truly random. They're just, again, you have a disproportionate number of really good players on here. So you can't just ask Google to give you 10 random baseball players. Sorry to break the news to you, but really the way to pick 10 random baseball players is to use some cumbersome procedure like what I described earlier. Sorry about that, but that's the way to do it randomly.